Welcome back to the sound design series. Today I'm back with another sound design tutorial for you guys. In the last video, we covered trap snares from scratch, and I told you guys I'd continue the series on. In that video, I mentioned that I would cover how to make claps from scratch because we layered in a clap in that video for that snare. That's what we're here to do today. Sound designing claps from scratch, let's go. All right, so sound designing claps inside of a synth is actually very easy. We're just gonna have noise and a volume envelope. That's it. After that, it's layering, effects, but very easy to make. I go between Pigments and Serum when it comes to sound design, so you could just apply this method to any other synth. So as mentioned, super simple. We just need some noise, so let's turn off engine 1. Let's go over here and let's turn on noise 1. And then we're gonna go into function right here, and this is where we're gonna create our volume envelope. Over here on mode, I'm gonna change this to one shot. Let's drag over this first one right here, then double click and create, or actually single click, my bad. Create another one like this, click again and bring one up like this. We're just creating the clap. So this is actually gonna be like the volume of the white noise, how it's controlled. So I'm just gonna make 4 of these real quick, like that, and then down, probably somewhere there, and then back up. And this one we're just gonna bring down like this. So again, this is just a volume envelope that we're creating, because as you can see right now, what I'm gonna do is assign this to the volume of this noise right here. So I'm gonna drag this noise down, and then I'm gonna bring this function up here. And what this is doing now is this envelope is controlling this volume. So it's pretty much gonna be turning itself all the way up and all the way down really quick like this. Right? It doesn't sound like a clap, but this is the start of a clap. So what we could do now is turn sync to hertz, and we can start to mess with this. And this is just pretty much going to be our speed. If I go ahead and like let you hear this a couple more times. If we go over here and go really slow, you can see how it's moving. All right, that's the volume of it. Let's bring it over here though. We need something a little faster. Let's actually bring this up somewhere in here. And then we could change this noise if we want to anything else. I'm actually just gonna go with a normal white noise right here instead of wide. So from here, you can really mess with these and move these around depending how you want it. Imagine it's just your volume, right? So you can really go in here and mess with these and get creative with how you want it to sound. You can have this be over here like this. And you can mess with this later too. It's just the beginning of it. I do have a preset for these. I just wanted to show you how to make them from scratch that I have right here, clap 1. And it just looks like this. If you want to copy this, it's almost exactly what the other one is. This one is just like really detailed and fine-tuned to how I like the claps to be, but exactly the same process. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this feature on right here, and then we're going to get our filter. And what we want to do for the filter is get a bandpass. So over here inside classic, if we go down right here, we have bandpass. I'm going to get bandpass 12 and bring this cutoff a little bit over here. And now you're going to start to hear what happens to the clap. Before, after. So somewhere in here is going to sound good. Let me turn on my headphones a little bit. And then let's start to bring up the resonance and the drive. See, we're starting to get closer to a clap, right? It's all little movements with sound design that really gets you to like get the sounds you want. Because we're starting off in the beginning, you're like, how is this going to sound like a clap? It's really just small things that you learn. And you got to go through the process of the beginning part to actually get to like the sound where you're kind of hearing a clap. And then from here, it's really just about adding textures and really making the clap unique and how you want it to be. But we got to get that basic sound down, right? Which is this clap. And again, as I mentioned, you have all these things over here that you can adjust later on. You can create another, we can go something like this. Hold on. Let's do something like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, actually didn't sound too bad over here. I might actually save this as clap 2. So you could just save these. Let's go back to clap 1 though. I'm gonna see later if that sounds good. If I remember, hopefully I do. So let's just mess with these a little bit more, fine tune them a bit. Cause you're really getting different sounds, right? And we haven't even gotten to effects yet. But I wanna get this as close to what I think I'll want for this sound. And you can mess with all different types of filters. You can go bandpass 24 if you want. It's a little aggressive. That's why I do 12, especially with the resonance up. but you can get some really cool sounds. All right, next thing we're gonna do is go into effects. I wanna get an EQ just to kind of round this out. I'm gonna cut out some low end. I'm gonna EQ this later on as well, but I want the sound coming out of pigments to pretty much be what I want it to be as far as the clap sound. So I'm gonna just boost some high end. There we go, and at any time we can speed this up and slow it down too. And then next thing I'm gonna do is get Bit Crusher. This honestly is just kind of a cheat code that makes these claps sound really good immediately. Go over here and get this preset called Decimate, and then mess with the dry and wet. Watch, here's 100% off. Start to bring this up. It's gonna add in some Bit Crusher, but it's really like, listen for like the kind of white noises sound it adds to the sound. It's like really destroying it, right? But if you do just enough before and after, I like how that's sounding. All right, so this is sounding really good. From here, what I'm gonna do, or what you can do, is turn on noise 2 right here and select a different noise to layer it with. And then again, take this function right here and just drop it over here. Inside of Serum, I'll actually show you guys real quick so you could see. You would just be doing this. Let me open this bigger a little bit. You would turn off oscillator 1, turn on the noise, and then you would have, let's just say, boom, like that. You would go over here to LFO, and you would create, again, shape like this, right? And then boom, bring this up like that. And then we bring this down. If I remember, this goes on envelope, something like that. And then we would drag LFO to the level of the noise, bring this down, bring that up, right? And we're starting to get the same thing. Then again, mess with your rate here, and then you can mess with different types of sounds for the noise. Let's actually turn this up though. Right, and then you would go over here, get your filter, and do the same thing. So you could really do this inside any synth. You can honestly just take white noise as well if you want and create your own volume envelope, but there's free synths out there that do this as well. So doing that is not hard, but it's definitely a bit easier in a synth. You obviously have more options, especially with pigments. You can get really creative with this. So now we have, what do? We drop this on noise 2. So now we have noise 2 doing this. Oh, I kind of like that. See, 2 different noises. It actually sounds really good. And then we can just turn this down depending how much we want. And you can get really creative with this. I just got a couple ideas I was thinking about delaying this noise with different envelopes, but we won't get into that. If you guys want me to go like into some crazy different ideas for sound designing claps, we could talk about that in another video. But this is all just running through the same effects here. But we could actually make this one go through B, and then we can get into some crazy different modulations we could do with the LFOs and different types of envelopes. But anyways, this is sounding good. Let's not get carried away, because I will very fast. I love sound design. I could talk about this all day. I kind of want to leave it in pigments, but we can export it as well. The reason I want to leave it in pigments is just in case I want to adjust the time or that decimate on that Bit Crusher. I feel like it might be a little too aggressive, but we'll see. So we'll actually do both. Let's record this one so we have it. So, and we're not done yet. We still got to add more effects, but this is like the basic part of the clap, right? Normalize it, bring it in here. And those are the shapes. Remember we did those 4 points? That's what we're seeing on this clap. And if you open up most claps, that's what you're going to see. So that's what we are replicating when we are creating this right here with the volume. So now we have this. Let's name this clap. So now what I'm going to do is throw this into mixer channel 1 and start throwing some effects on it. So really just get creative with what type of effects you have and that you want to throw on. I'll also show you some cool automation you can do with this, which really changes how your clap sound. So I'm going to just get a couple things that I like using. First thing I'm going to do is get RC20 on this. And the reason I'm going to do that is because if I go over here, initialize this, I'm going to utilize this noise feature right here. So I was starting to add to it. Sounds really good. Just a little bit. Let's add a little bit of distortion. Might be distorting a little too much though, I'm not gonna lie, because we did so much distortion with that big crusher. So that sounds pretty cool. And then the next thing we're gonna do, which you guys saw in the last video, is bring Snapback in here. This is by Cable Guys, one of my favorite plugins for sound design. This is just gonna allow us to layer things at the transient layer and then right before, if I turn this on, you'll see right before the transient, right? And we can just layer in some cool sounds. So that's what we're gonna do for this. It's just like random small sounds we can add into this. So let's just go through here. I'm gonna go over here to the clap section. I'm gonna go something like this. We could shift this if we want. We can also zoom this in. I have a link to all these plugins in the description if you guys want to check them out. This is one of my favorites though. Bring this up, maybe turn the volume down a little bit. So before, after. You can also take some other claps that you make, and all we're pretty much doing is just layering this right before, right? So if we had, let's say this was our main clap here, right? And then our other clap was right here, but like it was a different sound, or we recorded something else randomly or made something else from scratch, we can go over here and just kind of delay it. And that's kind of what's happening, is that first one's playing and then the second one. So we're really just layering up sounds. You can also drop in your own sounds to snap back, which is really cool. So it's just like an easy way to layer up sounds. And since they have a lot of good sounds in there, it's just a quick, easy plugin to get something going. So let's turn that down just a little bit. This clap sounded really good though. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is on the transient part, I'm gonna go in here and find something cool that we could layer. We have so many different things that we can. If we wanted to add a ghost hit, I don't even know what that would be. That's pretty cool. It's not the type of sound we're going for, but if we turn this down, you never know, because you can pitch this up, down, bring in the attack, bring out the decay, turn it down. And now it's just barely there. So not a sound specifically that I want for this, but it could sound really good. So let's go in here and just find one that sounds good. Or maybe some more noise. Why not? Decay down. Let's turn this down. Some pink noise. Decay down again. A little more. Could shift it too. I kind of like how this sounds. Let's go back. All right, watch before and after. So before, after. It's actually sounding really good. I like this a lot. So from here, what I'm gonna do, we can export it again or leave it. It really doesn't matter, but let's just export it again. Just so I have it, I like to have these like reference points, I guess, so I can go back and forth. And you can also just save these for later, which you can use to make other sounds. So let's go back into pigments and let's try, because remember this is all being layered through the same thing, that other little preset I made in here. If we brought this down, remember I told you could just mess with these. So here's the other one, then this one. Bring it down. Get real creative with it. I kind of like how that second one sounds, but let's continue on with this first one. Now what I'm gonna do is add in some EQ. So let's go get Fab Filter. This EQ you can get really precise with, so it's really, really, really good for sound design. And I'll show you what I mean. So let's just actually cut out some low end first. So let's just turn this on. You can listen to it individually if you want to make sure you're not getting rid of anything. Let's go like that. One of my favorite things to do is to create a bell And then what we're gonna do is actually turn this to like 48 or 72 dB per octave, and it's gonna create kind of like this rectangle thing, right? If you listen to it, if we were to bring this in, you can start to really shape the sound in a good and bad way. Watch. So we can listen to just these parts. We can get even more narrow too. But watch if we just create a couple of these. Before and after. Let me show you another one. Let's go over here. Bring this up to 48 as well. Bring it in. Now I'm just doing this randomly to show you. Okay. Now watch when I turn these off. If I bring it up, it's really just boosting that frequency range, right? But you can get so creative with this. I might not go obviously that high with it, but I just get ideas and try to listen to see if I can create something cool. We obviously can just boost a little bit of high end here. We can also just do a normal bell, right? If we want, but I was showing you those like more creative ones because you could do crazy stuff like this. And then maybe automate this, right? So let the clap play and then bring it up after. But you can get creative and do any of these, so it just makes it sound even better. And how you would capture this is inside of Edison, we would just press record, right, if we wanted to, and then let it play. I like to do this. You could really automate it, but it's more fun for me to do this because I found I can get more like creative sounds. Right, and because we're randomly doing the automation, these are all going to sound different, and maybe we can get something cool out of these. I kind of like this one right here. Boom. Now we have another clap. Clap 3. And then from here, again, we can get just really creative and do anything we want with this. I'll show you another thing we can do. Let's just go to pigments, and let's actually change this noise again. Let's change both of these noises. Maybe that. Okay, that sounds kind of cool. I just want that sound. So sometimes you'll just find like a random sound you want. So I'll just record it, right? So I'll delete all these and then just record this one sound. Okay, so that sounds really cool. This could be like a cool little Foley to layer. So boom, let's go like that. Bring this up. Sounds cool, I like that. Then maybe we want to throw this into some reverb. I did this in the last video, so why not do it here? What did I do? Isotope Neoverb. Maybe the time. Something like that, right? We can just have that be here. So this is clap layer. And now we can layer these together. So I could choose this one and this one and have them play together. They're very close. It probably would have been better to move some of this around because since they're so close and we just changed the noise, the profile is still very close. So it's there's probably some phase cancellation happening. So you probably move these around a little bit just so you have two completely unique ones as far as like the timing of it and everything. But what we could do is go in here, as I mentioned earlier, and we can just bring one of these over. We can go like this. I don't know why this keeps going to this velocity. You don't want to go too crazy like this, right? It's just not going to sound good. But just find like that nice sweet spot. And then you can also bring this down. That could be a cool clap. I don't know. Just get creative with it. That actually sounds pretty good though. Mess with your levels. And you can automate any of this again. You can get crazy with automation. So let's record this one last time. Boom, I like that. See, we haven't even put any processing as far as like compression, clippers on it, nothing like that, and it's already sounding good. So let's call this clap, what is this, 4? And now we have this. It's actually a solid clap, I'm not gonna lie. I really like this clap a lot. So now we've done claps and snares. I think we should keep going. All right, so hopefully you guys found some value in this sound design tutorial. If you did, drop a comment and a like down below. Hit that subscribe button. In the comment section, let me know what sound I should do next. I'm thinking hi-hats, open hat. I think hi-hats could be really cool. We'll continue on with this series. For all my sound designers out there and anyone that's getting into sound design, just let me know what you think of these videos. My newest drum kit just dropped, so I have a link to that in the description, and the series will continue. Appreciate you guys watching as always. That's all I got for today. Till the next video, peace.